What do you learn out of
We have a brief chat with the players already. They've learned a lot out of that, and plenty of stuff that we'll use to make ourselves better.
What's your message to the players then after that?
Well, pretty much that. Asked them what we learned, gave them my view on different things that Collingwood did really well, things that we've got to get better at, and asked the players how they found it, what they learnt from it, and from that now we'll work out the things that we need to. Well, we've got things that we're continually working on, and there may be some new things we've learnt from that today.
There's much about up front as in today. You had the same number of ins for 50s roughly.
Yeah.
For a lot of the game, you were, it seemed to be you weren't breaking down one end, so you got 6 goals or something out of 50.
Yeah. Collingwood very good at getting numbers back inside 50 very quick. So that's one of the things we've learned out of that game.
Did you need to be closer at half time based on sort of the ascendancy you had in that second quarter?
I'm not sure what the margin was at half time, but fair to say Collingwood were on top certainly in terms of the class and capitalising on some turnovers, and we're still a fair bit behind them in that regard. But endeavour-wise, the endeavour was there.
All those stats the ones that you go, you seem to go, you've done are pretty good today. Where do you think they are significantly better than? Maturity, no doubt. Our back line was fairly young today. Probably got, with Butler out, Butler, Waters, McKenzie and Brown, potentially 4 of our starting backs. So that was always going to be a big test, but the boys have been holding up pretty well and they're coming along. But, missed a few keys and overall we're just a little bit behind Collingwood, probably 50 points or so.
I think you're talking about class and fish. You sort of, as an example, Thomas's checks on boundary goal when you seem to be well into the game at that point. Cracker's couple of running goals.
Yep.
Is that what you mean?
Yeah, just the ability to capitalise on half opportunities sometimes. Not so much. I wouldn't say Thomas kicking that goal is what we lack. We've had players who've kicked freakish goals as well, but at critical times they were good enough to capitalise and kick goals, and they continually held us up, thwarted a lot of our chances to score inside 50.
Just on the first half, Collingwood getting their numbers back, was that played by the Collingwood defenders, or were you a bit disappointed in some of your forwards?
It's probably, I would say, something for our forwards to learn from. If they thought they were loose up the field a bit and the Collingwood defenders read the game better and said, well, you're not going to get it, I'll get back quicker. So that's a learning curve for some of the forwards for sure.
Talk about win-wins with Kennedy and Judd. You guys had a look cracker and you got an absolute beauty at 26 and he's playing great footy as well.
Yeah, I think you can check it out, but I think Cracker actually went with pick 24. So we would have had to give up Gaff. Yeah. So when you talk about what you didn't give up for Cracker, we would have weighed up pick 26 because we didn't know that Darling was going to be there. But we certainly weren't prepared to give up pick 4. And that's the one that we would have had to.
Yeah, and you'd be enjoying what he's doing even.
Oh, absolutely, yeah. So he's a wonderful young man. I had a good chat with him at the end of last season to find out where he was at and what he wanted to do with his next step again back in the AFL. So we would have been, happy to accept him into our side if there was the opportunity to do so.
John, just specifically on today's game, you're aware of the story published in the Herald Sun today, Ben Cousins supposedly suffering a setback in his readout?
No, I haven't seen that story.
Have you been in contact with Ben since he's been back over in Perth?
Yes. Yep.
And does it surprise you at all that he suffered a setback?
I don't know that he has. Sorry, so I'm not really spoke to him in February.
John, you've never wavered from your commitment to this job or your faith and ability to some of your young blokes. But I think at the start of the year you were saying you weren't sure whether even you'd want to coach this team again next year. You weren't positive about that.
No, I'd love to coach this team.
I know, but you said you were still open to something maybe happening next year or whatever, even though you're committed to this job. But is your commitment growing on that? Like, is now you really want to coach this team next year? Is that where your mind's at?
Yeah, where I'm at is that when this season finishes, I would love to sit down with our management and board and find out the direction that the club want to go and my direction. And if they match up, then and we're all happy, then I would expect that we would push forward with it.
But you wanted to see, at the start of the year before the season started, you wanted to see improvement for yourself.
Oh, yeah, no.
And now we're seeing it.
Yep.
So does that change your mindset slightly?
Of course it does, yeah. I mean, if we hadn't shown any improvement, I would be guiding this team along and getting them as well prepared as I could for someone else to take over.
Yeah.
Yep.
So you must be delighted with the fact that you can at least be competitive today in those scoreboards.
Yeah. I think the margin is disappointing, but the effort and the matching Collingwood in certain areas shows where we are bridging that gap between the absolute best in the competition and where we're at. But as we've said all along, the challenges are still ahead for us. We've still got to play some good sides coming up. We've got to play some young sides. We've got to show people consistently now where we're really at.
Have you had a call from Louis yet? It's not that long after the game.
No, not yet.
Do you talk too much during the week and we this week?
No. I basically we talk intermittently, but obviously after some of their wins, I'll congratulate him, and he'll do the same. But it's more via short messages.
So in the series, is this the sort of game now that you need to win to show
definitely.
that you are making those?
Definitely, yeah. It's a game we want to show the intensity that we've been able to play it against some good teams that haven't got us wins, and against some teams that have got us wins. Same intensity and ability to move the ball.
And do you feel you're getting that sort of feeling back at Subiaco again? Patterson's that you haven't had for such
I think we're playing the ground pretty well, yeah.
But are you getting that? Do you feel like you're getting that? Not fear and intimidation, but making teams wary that you are a good side back there again?
Yeah, it's not for me to say what other teams are thinking, but we look forward to playing at home, no doubt about that.
And with Minnie back, injury-wise, how do you track that against some players? Is there anyone likely to push
Coming back,
Yeah.
Butler would be a good chance. He pulled out late. He would be the only one, I think. The others are still a few weeks away.
Thank you.
Yep, thanks.